Hello, and welcome to our first video about running the map at First Contact 2035. My name's Chris, and I'm here with Zane. Hey, Zane.
Hi, Chris.
So, Zane, you're going to run us through everything on the map, aren't you, I believe?
I am. I think we're going to do it across a couple of videos, but this first one will look at some of the concepts that you will need to understand as a military commander, and then we'll do some on action phases 1, 2, and 3.
Fantastic. Let's go for it.
Alright then, so first things first, as a military commander you will be spending part of your day at one of the maps. There are 5 regional maps. Each of the maps is called a region. Each of these regional maps is cut up into territories. There are 2 main types of territories, lovely red ones, which is where the played countries will be, and blue ones, which are non-played countries. You'll also notice there are a few features on the map, so things like little markers and stripes. The stripes denote difficult terrain, and these little, I was going to say hexes, pentagons, denote natural resources, and then there are little white dots for population centres and areas where satellites go. So that's the maps. You will spend your day around that. As a military commander, the other thing of main note for you are your military mat and SIF mat. So Chris, you'll find, if you are playing South Africa, because clearly you're South Africa, you will have a mat on it. You will have the things you can do with your defence budget, your additional bases, your influence tokens, your units which are deployable, and some units next to it which are your research teams, covert ops, and militia will be placed next to it at the start. And then your SIF mat will have your SIFs, which are your fast rapid interception. I really honestly remember what SIF stands for.
No, but they go after the UFOs, right?
Yes, go after the UFOs. That's that bit. Then you will also have a hand of action cards. The back of the cards will look something like this, and you'll have a hand of those which can be played during the map phases.
And can I have as many action cards as I want in my hand? There's no limit?
No limit to the actual amount you can have in your hand. Limited the amount you can play per combat, but we'll get to that in a minute.
Okay.
You may also notice around the map other things. You might notice stuff with aliens. Key other bit is the initiative order. There's a place for initiative order to be sorted out. I'll come to that when we look at the actual turns. You'll also find white terror cubes and orange damage cubes, which will be placed on the map when things are damaged or when terror appears on the map. You may also notice some other coloured cubes. Don't need to worry your little human brain about resource cubes, but
I'm sure it's fine.
Yeah, nothing important. You will also find occasionally alien salvage might appear, especially when you shoot some sort of alien UFO down. They come in various colours. You'll also see crisis cards appearing on the map, and these will range from floods to oil spills to civil war and nuclear fallout. And they all represent various crises happening on the world.
And the terror cubes come out with the crisis cards?
They do, and through other actions as well. So if you don't resolve crisis, then the countries the crisis is in will go into terror, and eventually they become a failed state.
And just to go back to the alien salvage for a second,
Yeah.
is it just one type of colour, or are there many colours?
Many colours.
And I'll never find out what they mean.
Those will be useful for the AA scientists. So if you can get those to a nice science team, they might discover what they are and learn more about the lovely visitors.
Okay.
That's a general overview of it. On your first turn, what you will need to do is go to your military mat, and you will see your units are in these defence budget bits: low, moderate, high and extreme, and you deploy into your country all of your units up to moderate.
Okay, in the first turn. And how do I pay for that? In my case, for South Africa, that'll cost me 15 mega credits. How do I pay for that?
It's in South Africa it'll be 10 because it's up to moderate, and you don't need to pay for it in the first turn. It's dealt with. You have a token showing what level you're currently spending up to.
And I'm not adding those two costs together, low and moderate. I'm just paying the moderate cost.
We'll get to that when we do our defence budget bit. But just on the first turn, deploy all your units. Clearly here in South Africa, around South Africa. So we'll just
absolutely
dump them down and your fleets. Some people will start with units in different places. Your map facilitator will let you know if that's the case. You will also have a satellite token, which should be going on the satellite bit, and you'll have a military base in your home country.
And depending on who I'm representing, might have more than one military base. Is that right?
Not in your home territory. You'll only ever have one in your home territory. But yes,
but I have another military base somewhere else.
Some countries will start with military bases in other places. You will also able to build up to 2 more bases, one at home and one foreign base on another map if you ever get to that. And they have a maintenance, but we'll talk about that in the maintenance phase.
Okay.
You can also deploy all of your militia onto the map as well. Oh, look at that, stacks of units. I suggest stacking them up. We're just going to leave them like that for the minute, because otherwise we will lose them on the Miro board. Your militia are slightly different than your other units, as in that they don't actually form part of your military budget. They just sort of sit nicely out there, but once they die, in fact the same true of all units, once they're dead, they don't come back again.
So if I manage to get my modern tech army destroyed, then I don't receive it back. It's gone forever.
Yes.
Okay.
It is.
So it's quite lethal.
It is. Combat is lethal when things are dead. There's just not enough time within the there's not enough time in the time frame of the game to train and raise whole new armies generally.
Okay. No worries. That's good.
Also, in terms of placing, you'll see you've got this sort of low, moderate, high. You can always place your better bits down in the low end. I know that sounds counterintuitive, but these are your deployed ones, and then as you pay more you get to deploy more. So I would see it as the extreme end is you are paying more money to drag the dregs and older units out of I was going to say retirement, that's not quite right. So your better units are the ones you tend to have on the map all the time, but it's up to you to place them where you want, but you can place your better units on the left.
So yes, we recommend. So basically, my best units go left, and then go out to the right, and my worst units.
Yes. So in Algeria's, they've got their modern tech ones in the left, and then as they go along, their old tech ones. So if they deploy their low and moderate, they get their modern tech armies on the map.
Okay.
That is probably enough for the overview.
All right, let's get into it
in a minute and look at phase 1, or shall I go through the phase wheel quickly as just an overview?
Yeah, let's do that.
All right then. So here's a lovely little phase. When you come after team time, come over to the map and you'll do action phase 1. In action phase 1, the map facilitator will do a quick sit rep. They'll talk about what's changed or going on the map and give you a time to check what's going on. Then you'll play the influence game. This is when you place little tokens with your flag on to try and gain alliances with non-played countries and reduce terror. Then your interception, where you put those SIFs to a good use and try and intercept the UFOs. Then you'll do all your movement of your more conventional units, so your fleets, your armies, covert ops, research teams. Then you'll deal with all the conventional military battles on land and sea, and then do any of your specialist actions, so covert ops and research teams. Then action phase 2, sort of a clean-up phase really. You recover salvage, you sort out your defence budget, ready your SIFs for next turn, upgrade your units if you can, change your DEFCON if you happen to be a nuclear country, and make any formal declarations of war. Then action phase 3, you'll be asked to step away from the map. This is when those lovely visitors will come and put some more radar blips down on the map that'll be picked up by your long range radar. Then you'll hear a little bit of a press broadcast.
So during action phase 3, so my human colleagues and I won't be at the map, is what you're saying?
Yes, you'll be ushered away and asked to go and actually talk to each other and maybe, tell your team what's going on, check in with people, make alliances, negotiate with the other military players around your map.
Sounds great.
And that, I think, is a good place to stop.
All right, so in the next video then we'll talk about what happens in Axe Phase 1 in detail.
Thank you very much, Chris.
Cheers.